Hi everyone. Okay. Waiting for everybody to jump in here. Hi everyone. My name is Martha Ermias. I am from Columbus, Ohio. And today is Facebook Live Challenge Day 4. I made it to Day 4. Very exciting. I'm just going to wait for people to join in a little bit. Say hello. Hi, Hewan. Thank you so much for joining. How's everybody doing? Today is the last day of the first week. Weekend on Friday for a lot of people. I hope everybody had a great week. I hope you had a very successful week. Yes, we made it. Awesome. And again, my name is Martha Ermias, and I'm based off of Columbus, Ohio. I am an entrepreneur, and I have 3 passions. I'm very passionate about entrepreneurship, personal growth, and contribution. And I am doing Facebook Live to share some messages and help some people on different topics that I think would help people in their lives. And one thing I want to say is thank you so much for a lot of you who've been watching the last 3 Facebook Live videos that I've done. And many of you have commented and interacted, sent me messages, encouraging messages, told me that you've benefited from the messages, and I'm very honored and very humbled that I get to say something and some of you are getting benefits from it. So I'm very happy to do that. Thank you so much. If you find this episode, we're going to be talking about how one thing that you could do to get unstuck once something bad happens to you. Okay, and as you're listening to this, if you like what I'm saying, the stuff that I'm sharing, please go ahead and share it and comment and interact with me. I'll be more than happy to interact with you later on. So it's a blessing to have you guys all. Okay. All right. Again, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Martha Ermias from Columbus, Ohio. I'm an entrepreneur and I have 3 passions: entrepreneurship, contribution, and personal growth are my passion. Okay, so today we are going to talk about how to get unstuck once you've been stuck or something bad happens to you. As everybody knows it, life is full of challenges. There's going to be good times, there's going to be bad times, and there are going to be sometimes there's going to be times when some things happen and maybe it crushes our dream, or it's just so huge that it really overwhelms us. There are times when that does happen. It happens to everyone. Sometimes it could be relationships that you were really hopeful for. It maybe doesn't work, or sometimes it could be maybe you're a business person and there was a deal that you were hoping for that could totally change your life and it just doesn't work out, and that can really, really crush you. Hi Ruti. Hi Sari. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And that could really crush you or crush your dream. Something that you really hoped for, when things go wrong, you could be really crushed, or you could take it very, very heavily. And what happens a lot of times is that we get stuck. We get stuck in the situation. Sometimes for months, sometimes for days, sometimes for years. I mean, different people take it differently. And the stuff that happens to them, they can get stuck in that situation for a very long time. And what our topic today is really to talk about what's one thing that can help you overcome quicker and be unstuck. That's really what we really want to talk about today. So, well, first of all, the reason, I mean, if you look at life, there are people who overcome quickly and move on, and there are people who really get stuck. And what's the reason behind it? It's really one thing, and that's how they see the problem. It's really their perspective. When things happen, when some bad stuff happens, the perspective that people take it could either help them overcome it quickly, or it could make them overwhelmed by the situation and just be stuck in the situation. So it's really the perspective. But what do we mean by perspective? Okay, sometimes when something bad happens to people, they start asking questions like, why did this happen to me? What have I done to deserve this? Or how am I going to change this? My life is over. Things are not going to change for me. These are some of the things that they tell themselves when a problem happens. And more often than others, they will be the kind of people that will be stuck in this situation for a very long time. On the other hand, people who actually overcome very quickly, the way they look at problems is as a learning experience. When something bad happens, the first thing that they start to think about is, what can I learn from this specific situation, is really what they think about. Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining. So today what we're talking about is really the one thing that can help you get unstuck when something bad happens in your life, or something that's really heavy that crushes your dream, and what to do about it. Okay, so we're not talking about being stuck in such a way that sometimes you may need expert help, or an outside help, or outside support in order for you to overcome that. I mean, I totally understand that sometimes we can get into a situation where we really can't dig ourselves out of things, and that's when you really want either expert help or prayer or support from other people to really overcome that, and that's for sure. But what I'm talking about right now is just the day-to-day life, and when things that we want or things that we hope for don't happen, and the way we actually react towards it, and makes us stuck in the situation. And the one thing that could really help, which is really what I want to talk about, is that asking the right question. When a problem happens, first of all, we all want to understand that there's always a season. When a problem happens, it's not just for you, or it's just not, it doesn't mean that it happened to you and it can always happen to you. There's always a season. We're here in life, and we're living, and there's going to be challenging times, and there's also going to be prosperous or really good times. Seasons always change. So when something bad happens, the first thing that you really want to think about is really that it's not going to last forever. Whatever situation that you're in, it's not going to last forever. I know it doesn't feel that way when you're in it. It looks like it's never going to change. But the thing is, the reality is, nothing lasts forever. Good times don't last forever. Bad times don't last forever. So while you're in that situation, the best thing that you can do is really remember that that is temporary. It's not going to last forever. So that's really going to help you to the next level. Instead of saying, why did this happen to me? And the question why is really usually the problem. Why did this happen to me? This shouldn't have happened to me. Those kind of thoughts is really the problem. Instead of asking the question why, the best question to ask is, what can I do about this situation? Or how can I change this situation? How can I get out of this situation? When you start to ask those questions, then it means you're ready for the actual answers that are going to help you get out of the situation. But if you keep asking why, you're not going to find the answers, because you're not asking the right question. So one thing to really remember when things are not happening the way we want them, instead of asking, why is this happening? It's better to ask, how can I change the situation, or what can I do about this situation? And the answers will start to show up. Okay? Some of the things that you really want to avoid telling yourself is, negative thoughts when you're like in a situation where it has crushed you, or it's not very favorable, you're passing through some adversity. If you start asking the why question, you're going to start to feel very sorry for yourself, and you're going to, a lot more negative stuff is going to come and inhibit your brain. Okay, Probably you're going to say, oh, I never get good at this thing. This stuff always happens to me. Some of the things that you could probably come to mind is because I'm like this, that this happened to me. I shouldn't have never done this, which has caused this to happen. I don't really deserve this. Or maybe, it's a problem with a person, and you're constantly thinking about that person or why they affected you in the way that they've affected you. All of that really doesn't help you. You're focusing on the problem too much, and what that's going to create is more feelings like that, more of, you're going to remain in that kind of situation and probably create more of that. So I always say this, there's two things in life. There are things that we can control, and there are things that we have no control over. The beautiful thing is there's one thing that we can control that has more power over us than anything else, and that's our thoughts. Our thoughts are our own control. I can control what I want to think about or what I don't want to think about. So when you're in a situation that's really affecting you negatively, your thoughts are going to be negative. You're going to keep drawing negative thoughts, more and more of that. And that's only going to create more negative stuff and keep you stuck in the situation for a longer period of time. There's this saying that I always tell myself, if my mind is thinking negative and just everything that I'm thinking about is negative, then first of all, I understand that I am disappointed about one thing, or one thing hasn't worked, and that disappointment is creating negative thinking pattern in my mind. But one thing I will tell is right now, I'm not going to trust my brain, because the thoughts that are coming in my mind and what I'm thinking in my mind, they're not going to serve me. So this is not the time when I believe everything that I'm thinking about. That's not the time. When your mind is not in the right place, you don't want to believe everything that's coming through your thoughts. Okay? Instead, even when you're feeling that way or thinking that way, just ask the question, what is it that I can do? Or how can I change this? Then your mind starts to shift and starts to find positive answers that can help you get out of the situation. Okay? So when something, again, what we're talking about tonight is if something bad happens in your life, or a dream is crushed, or something that you really hoped for didn't really work out, and you're really disappointed, the less time you take to overcome, the better your life is going to be. Okay, so you want to be unstuck as quickly as possible. To be unstuck as quickly as possible, you really want to ask the right question. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Don't ask the question why. It's really not going to serve. It's not going to give you the right answers. But if you start asking the right question, which is, what can I do about the situation and how can I change the situation? Then it's going to help you get unstuck quicker. And the other thing is, at any given day, and this is a reality, at any given day, there's bad stuff happening and there's good stuff happening. There's always like your situation, which is the negative stuff that's going on in your life right now, but at the same time, there's also opportunities, resources, positive stuff, even in that situation. But if you keep thinking, if you're consumed by your negative situation, you're not going to be able to see the positive stuff that's happening around you that can actually pull you out of your situation. So your perspective of how you look at your problem is very important, because it's really going to help you either overcome quickly, or it's going to take you a longer period of time to get out of it. Okay, so it's really about perspective, and to help you have the right perspective, ask the question, what can I do about this and how can I change the situation? And the other thing I really want to emphasize on is really, whenever something challenging happens in your life, that could be very, very heavily challenging, always know that there's going to be a good thing coming out of it. And that's what I mean by that is, whatever adversity or challenge or stuff that you're going through, if you consider it as a learning experience, if you ask the question, what can I learn from this situation, you're actually going to come out of it stronger, different, and as an overcomer. And you will have, your experience will teach other people as well. Isn't that beautiful? That's the only beauty from adversity, because whatever you go through, whatever you pass through, it actually could be a way that you can help other people. So when something bad happens or you're passing through a challenge and you just don't feel like you don't deserve it, just know that it happens to everyone. It's just not to you. And at the same time, just remember that it's something that you can learn from. It's only going to make you stronger. It's basically a time where you're actually being tested to persevere. If you see it that way, it also helps your perspective. And if you have the right perspective, then you'll be unstuck easily. But the one thing you don't want to do, though, is really take it as if it's a permanent thing. Problems are not permanent. Nothing is permanent. Positive things are not permanent. Negative things are not permanent. Everything changes in this world. And you can, if you change your perspective, if you really work with your perspective, you can actually make the changes in your favor from the negative to positive sooner and quicker. Okay, so really that's really what I wanted to talk about, guys. I only had very few minutes today, but a lot of you have asked me what's the time that you're gonna go live, and I have to admit I haven't been very consistent on the time, and I don't know exactly what time it's going to be, but Monday I will let you know that it will be very consistent starting Monday. But I really do appreciate you, and thank you so much for joining, for watching this video. If you find it helpful, please go ahead and share it. But also please comment and let me know where you're watching it from, and say hello. I would like to say hello, and I also would like to interact with you. If you have any questions, please type them in the comments below as well, and I do appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Bye-bye.